Let's get to work before I forget what it is I do for a living.
You don't know me, punk.
I used to say my real gift was acting.
He is considered one of the most prolific artists of our time. But John Leguizamo himself will tell you none of it came easy. If it weren't for writing his own one-man shows about being Latino in America,
Oops, did I say that?
doors, he says, would not have opened.
My name is Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
It's just now, he says, after 4 decades in Hollywood.
Oh, my mistake, fellas, my mistake.
He's been cast in his first ever lead role in a dramatic series,
I wonder why.
emblematic of what he calls cultural apartheid that for too long excludes Latino talent from mainstream roles.
We people of color are even more disproportionately impacted.
Season 2 of his hit series, Leguizamo Does America, says it all. He's all about promoting Latino exceptionalism. And owning his own digital media company to promote Latin stories, he says, is a game changer. Actor, comedian, playwright in film, TV, and theater, the unstoppable John Leguizamo. He is the subject of today's LA Stories Revisited. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a really exciting edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernandez here with the one and only legend, John Leguizamo. So great to be with you.
Thank you for that intro. Holy cow, now I gotta live up to a lot.
No, you've already done it. I mean, you're just such an inspiration to so many. You're so wildly talented. Congratulations on, which is remarkable to even say this, your first ever leading role in a television series.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels incredible. This story is based on true facts, the Green Veil, that in the 1950s, government agencies were working with the oil companies to take Native American children from their families and put them up for adoption so they couldn't inherit the land, so they could then get the land from them. And this is a true story that went from the 50s to the 80s.
What about this role most resonated with you?
As a Latin man growing up in America, you know, I was born in the 60s, you know, you weren't always welcome. You never felt you could really celebrate yourself completely because you were invisible. You were erased in your history textbooks. You weren't on television shows except for Ricky Ricardo, you know, Lucy. It was hard to celebrate yourself. So this character here is in the 50s, and he comes to America and he works for the FBI.
What's your job in all this?
My work is top secret.
And he thinks if he proves to them that he's as white as he can be, that he's gonna be rewarded, and obviously the system uses him and then spits him out and then destroys him.
You can relate to that as well, can't you, in that character?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been pitching Latin stories for 4 decades and always finding resistance and not understanding what was going on. And I obviously took it to myself and go, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not writing well enough. I always found a flaw with myself until I got to the point where I go, oh, it's not me, it's you. It's the executives that are flawed, that are not seeing the incredible ability, and they're leaving, what is it, $30 billion at the table because they're not coming after people of color and not coming enough for the Latinos. They need to come after us because they're losing a lot of money.
You grew up in Jackson Heights, and you said it was tough, not just at home, but on the streets getting beaten up. But it was your humor that saved you?
It saved me at home, saved me on the streets, saved me from beatings.
You were described back then as a troubled child, arrested a couple times.
Yeah.
And if you had to describe John Leguizamo back then at 15, 16, 17, who were you?
I wanted to be a gangster. That was what I thought was cool. My parents worked so hard, and I saw them not getting anywhere, and I didn't want to be clowned like them. So I thought, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go against the system. I was becoming a hoodlum, and I talked like this back then. That's how I was, you know. Yeah, what's up, man? I'm not messing with you. So that's where I was headed towards.
You had a teacher, Mr. Zuffa, and I always want to go back to that inspiration that kind of breaks through the clutter and says, you've got talent. How did he inspire you?
Well, let me tell you, when you're from the hood, there's a bit that goes with you that you feel unworthy, you know what I mean? And you need somebody to come and put that hand on your shoulder and go, you're worthwhile, you're worth the effort, you're worth fighting for yourself. And Mr. Zuffa was one of those people. My math teacher, he said to me, Mr. Leguizamo, you have the attention span of a sperm. If they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, there's something we can do with you. And he told me I should be a comedian, that I was really funny, and instead of being disruptive in the class, to use that talent for something. And it stuck with me. I found Sylvia Lee Showcase Theater, and I went there, and that's my career started. I found my calling. I found my thing.
One of the unique things about you is how courageous you are and how self-exposing you are.
It's my strength. You know what I mean? Being as raw and honest as I can be is my strength. I think all my experiences in life made me that way.
My father just field goals me across the room, and I was like, ah! Luckily, the nice hard brick wall broke my fall.
I was going to be expelled from high school if I didn't go to therapy, so they forced me to go to therapy, and that saved me at 17. So I went to therapy.
Stigma in Latino community, though, man.
Oh, yeah. But I tell all my Latino people, I say, the people that need the most therapy is us Latinos, because we go through so much, and we don't understand how much racism we're internalizing, how much microaggressions and macroaggressions we're dealing with. We need therapy, so don't be ashamed of it, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for therapy. It forged me to who I am today. It made me a little bit invincible to Hollywood and the rejection of Hollywood. It forged me, you know? I'm not looking for Hollywood's validation. And I'm grateful for that, because their rejection of me made me find my own voice, made me stronger in my own voice, made me create my own opportunities, because they weren't coming my way. So it made me a fighter.
Where did you get, though, the courage, the confidence to say, I don't care if you validate me or not, I'm going to do my own work?
Because of the violence at home, I was very anti-authority. I saw opportunities in these small spaces in New York City, performance art spaces, where I would do my shows and people would respond in such an incredible way that I knew I had something. And then when I got Mambo Mouth, my first one-man show, and I did it in New York, when Latin audiences found me, it was like religion for both of us.
It wasn't just Latin audiences. I read that when you did that show, you had Al Pacino, you had Sam Shepard, you had John Kennedy Jr. come in, all white people.
I had all the white audience first, which was incredible, because I was like, oh wow, our culture is for everybody. Everybody loves us. But then when Latin people found me, it became religion, because they would stomp, yell, holler, cry about the words and the stories that I was telling, because it resonated with them. To see somebody that looked like them up on stage.
You shattered your own glass ceiling, literally put yourself out there on the map and started getting the roles, but not the kind of roles that you wanted. It was always like the thugs or like the drug dealer. Those stereotypes were hard to shatter.
So I knew my opportunities were never gonna be equal. I had to create my own path however I could, but I knew the Latin audiences were there. They were all around me. Television and film was not reflecting the real world that I saw. 30% of subscribers and streamers is Latino. 30% of sports fans are Latino.
30% of box office is Latino.
Yes.
What's the disconnect?
The executives don't look like us, and they don't get it. I mean, Fluffy sold out Dodger Stadium. No white comedian has ever sold out Dodger Stadium. Bad Bunny sold out Yankee Stadium twice, and Romeo Santos sold it time and a half. No white artist has ever done that. And yet, where are we? We're still underrepresented. We're almost aggressively excluded. Yeah, this disconnect is there. Exclusionary, systemic racism, that's what it looks like. We're still less than 6% of the leads, less than 1% of the stories being told, less than 1% of the executives in Hollywood. And this isn't just Hollywood. This is like in banking, tech companies, in medicine, everywhere. We're just not, there are quotas, they're in glass ceilings, and we're still thriving, because we reached this point where we have $3.4 trillion of buying power in America. If we were our own country, we'd be as big as France, bigger than Brazil, bigger than India, bigger than Italy. We have to come together and get loud and call people out, and call corporations out, and call Hollywood out. I think we're getting there. We really are.
We're going to take a break right there, but when we come back, we're going to dive into how you speak truth to power when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here with the one and only John Leguizamo. When you couldn't get roles that you wanted, you created your own one-man shows to great celebration and acclaim, like Freak, way back in the day.
1998.
And it was so real and heartbreaking and hilarious about this abusive relationship with your father.
I don't want to leave you with a bad impression of my father. No, because my father wasn't always this brutal. No, sometimes he drank too.
How much courage did it take you to bring that to the stage for everybody to see inside your soul?
Well, I didn't realize how brave I was being until my dad came to see the show, and he was livid, furious. It was my way of venting, you know? It was my way of dealing with the traumatic experiences of my childhood.
One of the most poignant scenes for me in Freak, which I've seen many times, is when you broke your dad's precious, coveted antenna of the TV, and you blamed your brother, which is hilarious. But you got beaten to a pulp, almost died.
My head opened up like a piñata, and I was like, Dad, look at all the pretty candy.
At the same time I'm laughing, I'm also, you know, crying for you. Was it cathartic?
For me, it was cathartic, absolutely. I've always used my art to deal with my trauma. You know, that's what artists do. We all do that. We all take our trauma and we play God with it, and then we can control it, and then it doesn't control us.
Did you feel it healed your relationship in some way with your dad?
I don't think so. I don't think that relationship can be salvaged, but definitely with my mom and I, we're closer than we've ever been. And those shows were, you know, a shock for her. She was like, those people you're doing are so funny. Who are they? I go, it's you, Ma. She goes, no, that's not me. I never, que desgraciado, cabroncito. Yeah.
And the validation you got from Freak that opened so many doors.
That was incredible. I mean, to have these incredible artists, Forrest Whitaker, Madonna, you name it, come to the theater and be so praising of the work. That was incredible for me.
That must have been really validating.
Yeah, I did 6 Broadway shows, and the awards came. What I couldn't accomplish in Hollywood, I was able to do in the theater and get the awards, and that's what kept me going.
You also took another personal experience when you yourself were the father of your son who was being bullied, and you created out of that experience Latin History for Morons. That was such, first of all, an incredible, probably cathartic performance for you.
And the little punk says to my son, you B-nerds can't be cops.
What did your son think about that first?
He loved it and he felt very proud. As long as it was healing to him, that was my major concern. And then, how can this show heal Latinos all across America? How can this become a healing moment for America?
You traced 3,000 years of our history in America.
I gotta undo your whole education and the entire way you think, and it's not gonna be easy because that's in there deep.
It was amazing. What surprised you most that you didn't know about who we were and what we've done here?
Oh my God, the whole thing was shocking. I didn't realize Latinos were being lynched as well as Black Americans, burned alive and shot and massacred. We've had enough. We're also proud of ourselves. We're at an intersection now where we're understanding that we're indigenous and embracing our Afro-Latinidad. I see all these young people embracing their indigeneity and their history. It uplifts me. It gives me, you know, the verb to go on every day.
And it inspires him to continue to celebrate the Latino community in his hit docuseries, Leguizamo Does America, now in season 2.
I go to every city looking for Latin excellence, and I find it in the craziest places. All these incredible Latin people, politicians, activists, restaurateurs, chefs, who are James Beard nominated or winners everywhere in America, surviving sometimes in communities that were redlined, segregated, and they're still doing excellent stuff. And that's where I get inspired, where beautiful things are happening even against all odds.
And that show on MSNBC is doing gangbusters in the ratings, so congratulations for that as well.
We need to act now.
You don't just rail against the inequity, the discrimination against Latinos and Hollywood. You take on Washington, you take on Univision, and we're going to get into your Speak Truth to Power advocacy when LA Stories comes right back. Welcome back to LA Stories, everyone. We're here with the one and only John Leguizamo. Your advocacy and constant speak truth to power is unprecedented, but specifically recently against Univision. They did a softball interview with President Donald Trump.
Especially in states like Arizona and Nevada. Why do you think voters are responding to your message?
Bigger than anything now is security. They want security.
You took issue with that and really spoke out against it. Why so egregious?
First of all, a softball pitch with the president who is a racist, who said the most heinous, horrible things about my Mexican brothers and sisters, so he might as well have said it about my family, was not okay.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
When Univision, our own people, is highlighting a person like this without calling him on his lies, without calling him on his racism, is appalling. And then they also stopped Biden's ads at the same time. So this becomes a propaganda. Univision no longer is a news station. You're doing propaganda if you're not doing both sides fairly. And it's troubling because Televisa, I'm sorry, is you're not supposed to own an American news station if you're a foreign entity. And I'm all for that.
And you wrote a scathing op-ed about this and also then hosted The Daily Show soon after. And you quoted a New York Times Siena poll that said that if the election were held that day, Donald Trump would win amongst Latino voters by like 6% over Biden. Why do you think Latinos are skewing right?
Well, because the Republicans and Donald Trump put money into Latino communities. Ads. They went into our radio stations, Spanish radio stations, and the Democrats were asleep at the helm. And that's where the mistake is. Democrats did not put money, assume that we were just coming to them, and it doesn't work that way.
For the Latino community, such a behemoth community, as you point out, 20% of the country, trillions of dollars in purchasing power and contributing, paying taxes. Why does such a behemoth community feel so powerless?
I think the majority of us are in poverty, working class, the majority, so they're struggling. And if you're struggling, you don't have time to picket and boycott like that. But I think we have to start becoming much more vocal and much more organized.
You think we're actually rising to this moment?
I see it happening everywhere. Latinos are #1 in small business startups in America. And what drives America? Small business startups. That's where the power is. They're the ones doing this grassroots work and organizing and getting these votes out. So we're getting there. We didn't understand that we had this political power, economic power, and just bodies in terms of power. We didn't know.
Why don't the powers that be see the behemoth potential here? Or do you think there's something else going on?
When I was a younger man pitching to executives, they would tell me to my face what they were thinking. John, we don't need to do Latin movies or anything because we already have their money. They're already coming to the box office. Or they would tell me like, Latinos don't want to see Latinos. They like seeing white people.
They told you that to your face?
Yeah, they would tell me all these crazy Hollywood wisdom, which is just systemic racism, being pitched to me as wisdom.
You take your advocacy not just to Hollywood and to Washington, but to see inmates in prison at Rikers. You did this amazing performance of Ghetto Clown.
So by the time I got to Berkshire High, I was mad rebellious, and I became the school class clown. Yeah, that's me.
Why was it important for you to do that, to go to those who are most invisible, black and brown kids?
They're my heart and soul, and I know you grow up in these communities and there's not opportunities, and you make a mistake and you're put in the prison system, and then the prison system should be there to rehabilitate, not to castigate. And that's why I felt I had to go there. They're forgotten. I feel like I have to do something. I can't sit there comfortably like a survivor. No, I need to go back in there and give back. I feel that as a duty.
And you are doing that certainly in Hollywood as well. You have your own studios. I mean, how liberating is that to control your own work now?
Yeah, it's exciting. We create our own platform to create content, to find a place to get rid of the middleman, to get rid of the executives that aren't greenlighting important content about Latinos and people of color.
Go heat up your abuela's cooking, because we about to chop it up.
Relax! What are you most proud of?
Oh, well, it's got to be my kids, you know. My kids are my greatest source of love and
You're a different
and
kind of
pride.
dad.
Oh, then I broke the cycle for sure. Yeah, that was the most healing thing in my life, was that I could break the cycle.
Yeah, and you said that your wife, who you met at Costumer on Carlito's Way, she brought you a lot of healing and that kind of stability.
She's my rock, and she's incredible. She created a really safe environment, an environment where my kids grew up to be really kind and decent and gentle human beings.
What do you want your legacy to be?
That I changed America. Yeah, I like it that I was able to change America somehow.
Well, that you've already done. You are the very epitome of Latino exceptionalism. I feel so honored to sit with you.
Wow.
You're the actor's
Likewise.
actor. Congratulations on a
To you
really
too.
amazing career. I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Un abrazo.
Un abrazo. And thank you for watching another edition of LA Stories. I'm Giselle Fernandez. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest information, balanced coverage, weather updates every 10 minutes, and more. We'll see you then.